All right, happy lunchtime. So this video is for Matt. He asked what I typically carry in my Ditty bag. So I have a couple of Ditty bags. I also have a splicing box, and really it just depends on what I'm doing or how organized I am or how messy I am or whatever's going on of what I have in my bag. Usually it's full of lots of odds and ends and junk and that stuff. So, but I did grab one of my bags to kind of show you what I carry on a daily basis. Again, it changes from what I'm doing, the jobs I'm doing, or I grab from other bags or from my box or from my little splicing bench that I have. But this is a typical thing, so I'm just gonna show you kind of typically what I carry in there. So start out in I'll always have some kind of small stuff, some kind of cordage. Pick this stuff up at the local maritime store. Use it to do like whippings or some kind of like constrictor knots, things like that. Just general use, right? Always have tape. I've tried to kind of graduate to using masking tape over electrical tape, although any kind of electrical tape or masking tape always works well, so always have that in there. I will have usually a Swedish fit or two, good for either, tucking, like if I'm making a large, if I'm doing Turk's heads, I'll use these a lot. Also for splicing, so I usually have a couple of these. I mean, I have a bunch of them, so which ones I use doesn't really matter. I don't have a favorite over those two, but I usually have a couple different sizes of these. Again, when I'm making Turk's heads or some kind of knot that I need to slide underneath, I'll use a Swedish fit. And then also for splicing, always have a Sharpie or two that I'll use. Again, I love to use wood fids, so I try to use wood fids as much as I can. I have a couple different, 3 or 4 different sizes. Look at that cute little one made for me by William Gura. So I'll usually have a couple of different kinds of wood fids for splicing and stuff like that. I have this little seam rubber that I use for, like if I'm doing something that I need to flatten out, or like on some canvas or sewing something or whatever. Usually have that. This is another William Gura. This is great because I can use it as a mallet. I can use this end to roll things, if I need to roll something flat. Use it as a seam rubber so I can rub it on a seam. It's a pretty good handy tool. This sees a lot of time in my splicing bag. Usually I carry a couple of these little Samson tubular fids. Use that for that. Lacing, things like that. Again, splicing. I try to always have at least one sail needle, although I have a sail needle case made for me by Miko, but at least one for real quick jobs or things like that I need it. These things, I lose these so much, but these are the things to have. I wish I had more of these and smaller ones at that. But Hemostats, fantastic. Probably one of the best tools to have out there, either curved or the straight ones. I prefer the smaller ones, but life is so much easier with Hemostats. I can't say that enough. Paracord, natural, whatever you're using, splicing, Hemostats are great. Really fantastic. Always carry a pair of scissors, but of course I always have knives on me. I got a couple of knives that I have, like my lanyard knife and my belt knife, but I'll always carry a pair of scissors. Sail palm, one that I had modified to make bigger for my big giant hands, but yeah, so use that for palm stuff and sailing, right? I usually will try to keep like a dowel of one size or another if I'm making Turk's heads, or I'll start out a Turk's head on this and then transfer to something else. I use a lot of paper towel rolls for that also. This is an old meat thermometer that used to have a cord on it. Cut that cord off, put a Turk's head on it, and I'll use this to hold a place. Like if I'm splicing like a double braid nylon, hold the core and the cover together, I'll just stick that through kind of like a pricker to hold my spot. Or sometimes I use it as a directional, like if I'm doing something that I have to go in a direction and I don't want to forget the direction I went and not go back the other way, I'll usually poke it in and point it in the direction that I was working so that I remember. Sometimes a measurement tool. I don't often use this. I'm not really concerned too much about it, but sometimes I have a couple of them I'll throw in my bags just in case. A lighter for the synthetic things. I try to always keep a hook, some kind of hook that I need, if I need to make like an impromptu type of sail hook or something that I need tension or to hang something, I'll keep some kind of sun core or like one of the brass halyard ones. Something I've recently added to my kit was, this is actually pomade for your hair, but I carry some beeswax with me. This works really good if I'm like, if I want to put a little bit on my fid or like a sail needle or whatever, just to give it a little bit of slickness or lubrication. So I always carry some of that on me. This stuff was like $8. It is for your hair, and people might not like that. Some people use pure beeswax. Some people use you know, tallow, things like that. But I found out this is pretty good. I don't mind the smell. Works good for what I'm using it for. So, and then maybe some kind of like adhesive. I'll usually carry an adhesive. But as far as fancy things go, I do have specialized tools, but I usually don't bring those out very often. This is pretty much like a everyday thing. If you were on a budget, you couldn't afford that, the things that I would recommend that you get, for sure some kind of Swedish fit, a small one or a big one, and Hemostats. Definitely the most important. You can, a lot of the other things aren't necessarily needed, but they're nice. So this is what I carry in my kit. And that's it, in the old Ditty bag. So I'm just trying not to drop your wood fids, and I'm usually a pretty messy knot tire. Some of you are probably X-Actos and very clean, but most of mine just go shoved in there. But really you can use anything you want. If it helps out, it's not wrong. And that's pretty much my kit. I just try to keep things I know I can use in there or get creative. Put a little Turk's head on my lanyard of my very twisted Ditty bag. And there's my kit. Thanks.